I thought it was, yeah. Oh,
Good
I thought
morning,
it
good
was
morning, good morning.
good morning. I thought
Hi,
it was 12.
Michael.
Hi, hon. Over here we
Michael,
call everyone.
sweetheart. So nice to see you again.
Nice to see you, huh? We
Beautiful.
doing, huh?
And Klaus,
I thought it
Klaus.
was
Hi,
12.
everybody. Nice to be here with you tonight.
Oh,
Or this
nice to be
morning, or it is night or morning. I don't know. In the United States, it's morning.
It's 11 o'clock in the morning, yes.
Oh, great.
11
Great.
o'clock.
Yeah.
Okay.
So good
Sweetheart,
morning.
do you know each other? Klaus,
No.
Michael? No?
Do I know you, Klaus?
Oh, let me say this. In 2016, we
Oh,
had something like a coffee on Messenger. You invited me to have a coffee with you on the Messenger, and we talked for about 1 hour 30 minutes about a lot of stuff like brain synapses, chemicals, and Ramana's eyes, love, compassion, and we stay there for about 1 hour and a half, and I still remember that meeting because it impressed me a lot. It was
wow.
wonderful. But of course, you don't remember me because I had another Facebook with another name,
Oh,
and so it was not Klaus. I don't remember the name of that kind of profile, but we had the talk together. Yes,
oh,
several years ago. Yes.
So beautiful, sweethearts. In a way, I'm simply here opening up this room in order you guys. I had the impression, you know how this was? It was like I was sharing my music with all my friends, also with Michael, lovingly
Yeah.
so. And Michael answered so beautifully. I don't know what it was. I love the answer. So, and then we were simply saying, okay, let's connect again soon. That was it. And then we had
mm,
our Saturday brunch meeting. Michael, I'm doing it 11 a.m. German time. Saturday brunch meeting with Hadar and friends and Maria and Klaus and Tony and la 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 la. And Klaus boomed beautifully out. And then he exactly one day before we messaged and say, you know, I was reading something or watching something from Michael Markham. And for me, it was, oh, interesting. And then he continued, and here was directly the impulse to just meet. And yeah, and I'm in a way curious, Klaus, what was it? What was it?
Yeah, honestly, when I read the posts of Michael Markham on the Facebook, I resonate a lot because for me they make sense, and I share his perspective and vision.
mhm.
And if I have to go to the details, I can say that yes, for me, everything that is appearing now, meaning emotions, thoughts, images, perceptions, memories, sense of an eye, it's an appearance for no one, of course. But then here there is the belief that is brain made. So
Mm,
under this point of view, I resonate a lot with Michael because for me, the only explanation, if you want to talk about that, is that the brain creates this imagination. What is appearing now in the present moment, it's all about imagination. It's all about chemicals, brain activities. So
mm.
for me, it makes a lot of sense. And very often I go to Michael's page to read what is writing down daily, and I find it very interesting. So here I resonate a lot. I can say that I am a fan of Michael.
Oh, cool. So you're a fan of Michael, like I'm a fan of Emerson. Yay!
Yeah, yeah, beautiful, beautiful.
And
And you know, for me, it's a pleasure to have the chance to talk to you
Oh,
because I was waiting for this moment. Yeah. You know the sensation when a rock and roll fan meets I don't know who, Bruce Springsteen, for instance. You are a little bit nervous, right? And so for me, it's the same with Michael right now.
Oh,
There is
yeah.
this. I mean, it's not devotion, of course, because we are not talking about gurus and disciples or followers.
No authority.
But yeah, there is a kind of appreciation. Yeah.
Oh, so
Yeah.
beautiful, Klaus. And I could sense this. When you mentioned the shortly, I simply could sense that there is something. So, Michael, I would say, yeah, share. Feel free to share what's coming up there.
Oh my, this heart rush, I call it. I only tried marijuana twice in my life, and I liked it. That rush you get. The feeling I get here is like that, but it's more, for lack of a better word, a heart rush. It's an indescribable feeling of, oh, I can't, there's no word for it. I I know that we're separate. We're separate and alone in the universe, both individually and in mass. We are a unique collection of memories within a beautiful, objectifying human brain. Somehow that makes our condition ever so much more beautiful than I could have ever imagined. But in that is this longing and loneliness that comes with the human condition. When we hear a voice across the canyon that resonates with ours, something happens. People feel it, but I think the sensitivity is somewhat deadened in most human beings. They're protected, uh, clothed in ideas and beliefs, but here it feels like being naked in the universe, that impacted by things directly. Like Klaus, I believe everything happens in the brain. We know that other animals, we 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 see foxes and deers as their awareness originating in their brains, their respective brains. But a lot of people and humans tend to think that that brain action is stimulated, or that the brain is essentially a radio receiver for some outside force that they never can quite explain or articulate. And I pose the question sometimes to those people, are all brains stimulated by an outside source? Or is a bat's brain, when it enters a cave with a million clicking bats and its own clicks and everything bouncing off the walls, somehow a mother bat can find her own baby? Is that brain stimulated by an outside source, outside of the bat brain? I don't think so. I don't think that that's a reasonable explanation. For me, the simplest Occam's razor suggests that awareness or consciousness, assuming they are things, they're just really labels. There's no such thing as awareness or consciousness, except in our labeling of them. And then they become things, and we think of them as separate existential things, which of course they're not. But then we extrapolate that idea that awareness is a thing that comes from some outside thing, something outside the human brain. And to me, that's a push. That doesn't make sense. I think the human brain is the most marvelous thing in the universe. It evolved over hundreds of millions of years, survival, reproduction. Evolution is only cares about those things. They're not things. But from our perspective, evolution selects the most viable organisms who can reproduce and carry the genetic pattern forward. But somehow language evolved out of that. This complex language where we can share our worlds with each other. I can listen to Klaus, who's bilingual and only speaking in English can I relate to him. Language is our connection, our only connection.
Oh, sweetheart, sweetheart, Michael, I will interrupt now.
No.
If I sit here now with you and Klaus without exchanging any word, there is a connection already. Booming connection.
Yes.
There is no need to say anything here in order to sense this.
I know.
Telepathic.
I agree. Although
this is beyond any understanding. It's like this. There is very strong connection without, no matter where, with foreign people, so-called foreign people. There is simply this I cannot put it differently with the words, but there is simply no sense of a separation. There is no sense of a separation. There is no sense of, I don't know how to express this, but there is a very strong, there is of course already no connection because there is not two.
Of course. No, I know. I agree. There's a biological connection. Bodies, well, this body language that all organisms have. Humans have an intricate body language. If a woman looks at you in a certain way, men understand. It's a certain look in the eye, a certain very slightly raised eyebrow, or this signal of brushing the hair that says, I'm interested in you. And males pick up on all those subtle cues, but they're still objectified. Everything in our world is an object. Everything. Oh. I used to offer $1,000 for anyone who could think of something that didn't have a name. And they can't.
Yeah, of course. Yes.
The feeling I'm talking about, the body language, those subtle cues, in order to be translated into the self, which is basically a linguistic overlay. It doesn't exist except as a hologram, a mnemonic hologram. It has to be translated into a language. We are the brain's objectified perspective of the world. And it's beautiful, very limited, very, very selective. But nevertheless, it's the only place that beauty and love exist.
Yeah. Yes, definitely.
The only place where existence is.
Yes.
Existence is a word, but we're the only organism that's aware that it's alive. Dogs don't know they're here. We have to have an imaginary separation.
Yeah.
Language.
This is the illusion, of course.
Yeah, right. And language creates that. Me and other, me and you, me and Klaus.
The language, the thought, the ideas,
language, yes,
the
language,
beliefs.
beliefs. But beliefs are language.
Belief is a thought.
A
Michael,
thought is language.
Michael, here's a question for you. What is between the brain and no brain?
Well, the brain actually is not a thing in itself.
Oh, tell me.
There
It's an
are
idea, right? It's just an idea.
Everything is an idea. everything is a label. There's no separation except in the human brain. Thought is not a thing either. We have this roof brain chatter, this internal dialogue, and we call that thought. But thought is not a thing. It's a
What is a
label.
thought? What is a thought?
Well, it's a label for this internal dialogue. It's a label for the process of the objectifying brain trying to observe its own self, and it can't do that unless it's objectified, and the objectification is delusion. So it's locked out of any reality, which is, of course, just another word. It's confined to and defined by labels. Electricity. They don't know what electricity is. They have no idea what magnetism, gravity. Those are labels. They're not things. We're talking labels here. We're exchanging labels. We're stacking shadows. But somehow, in that, this human love comes. It's the best part of it. I tend to believe, again, this is just speculation, that without love, human beings would never have evolved, because life as a human, objectifying human, is just too hard. Life beats everyone up. It's indifferent. Well, it's not even indifferent. It doesn't even know we're here, because ultimately we're not as personas. Our bodies are here. I love this old body. It's falling apart, but I still love it. Or the brain loves its body. The brain loves its sense of self, and it loves other senses of self. I'm looking at both of you, and you're just radiant beings. You're just, my God, you're so beautiful. I get glimpses of my own beauty only through you. I can't see myself. Of course, I don't exist. But looking at you, at Klaus's smile right now, Rosa's radiant feminine beauty.
Sweetheart, I love you.
I love you.
Always enjoy your compliments. Totally.
Yes, and you know what? When you listen to a person that speaks about non-duality with the same perspective, and you agree with his words, the person itself looks more familiar. It's very, very strange and fascinating. But here the sensation is that I know Michael from a long time, which is not true, of course, just because what he says resonates a lot with what is the perspective here. And so immediately, for some kind of magical mind trick, it seems that I know Michael from a long time. It's kind of a relative, but I never saw him in his face before now, except for pictures on the Facebook page. So here you can see how the brain, the mind is a little bit tricky and charming and fascinating in the same time.
Truly.
Of course, everything that is appearing now, the room, the door, the landscape that I can see through the window, together with emotions, sensations, memories, it's all the same appearance. It's all an imaginary thing. And here there is the belief. Maybe it's a belief, maybe it's an assumption that everything that is appearing now is made by the brain. But of course, there is no proof. It sounds logical. It sounds very normal. that everything is appearing now is made by the brain. And if I wear a pair of sunglasses with red lenses, the world would be red. So that brings me to believe that what I call the world is appearing inside my school. So we think that there is an outside world, and probably there is an outside world. But what is appearing now is a brain fabrication. If I close my eyes, the entire world disappears. So, of course, when I say that the appearance here is made by the brain, it can only be an assumption because there is no brain among the things that are appearing now. But logically, it brings me to think that what is appearing now is mind-made, you know? Yeah, and when I was 23 years old, sorry, when I was 23 years old, as I told previously,
you fell in
I
love.
had what?
You fell
Sorry?
in love. You fell in love,
I
and
fell
the
in love,
girl
and
went.
then this love story finished, and she left me for
She
some
left
reason.
you. How can she leave you? Unbelievable.
Unbelievable. And
Why?
but the funny thing is that a lot of my identification here was related to her. And so when she went away, a lot of my identity here just vanished.
Collapsed.
So collapsed. And in that very precise moment, I had the so-called proof that this so-called solid me that would live here is very, is not solid. It's not solid at all. It can vanish. You can have an accident, you can have an injury, you can have the end of a relationship, whatever you want, but the sense of a me identity can easily go away because you can lose a lot of data and a great amount of thoughts, memories, identification, sense of being a me, my story, my biography, everything that is concerning with this so-called imaginary person can easily go. And in that precise moment, I had the proof that the sense of a me is a construction, is a fabrication. Then, of course, the human body, because it has to survive in this Earth, you know, planet, in the everyday life, try to rebuild a new personality, and that happened through the months and years. But the funny thing is that that new personality was not convincing anymore.
Sweet.
Was not believed.
Love
Was not
it.
believed. It was not serious. It was not anything serious. The story, what I do, my work, relatives, the thing, all my projections, my goals.
Sweetheart, let me ask you one question.
Yeah.
To whom was the Claus number 2 not convincing?
To nobody, because there is nobody in the background seeing the whole story happening. So the only fact that is that the new personality has not the energy to be taken seriously. But if you search for a somebody who is taking it or not taking it seriously, there is absolutely no one in the background doing the thing, you know. So you can see the personality going away, but when I say you can see, it's not correct, because then there is never a seer In the same time, you can feel the data of your personality go away. Like if you were there to witness, but there is no witness at all. That is difficult to explain, but is a
It's
true.
impossible. It's impossible to explain. So this illusion here, it's obvious, but for no one. There is no one who can. And that's
Totally.
why, in a way, you cannot. You cannot explain this.
Yeah, and the new personality with other preferences, likes and dislikes was totally different from the previous one, but was not absolutely not convincing for no one, of course, because there is no one in the background to be convinced. Hard to explain.
So we can say that you were not anymore able to take things serious. So it was like more like a game. Of course, with ups and downs, but in the pain you can see already the emptiness, right?
Sort of, yes. Yeah. It's hard because the language doesn't help. It's hard to explain it in words. Everything you say
also
is,
maybe we can also say that the language even makes it more in a way it's muddying it.
yeah, that's it. The language is always dualistic, so it's like there is always a subject and an object, but it is not the case. When you lose your personality, I mean, nobody is left aside. You know that there is no me to witness the losing of the personality. You're gone. You know, so there can be thoughts, memories, fears, anxieties, but they are for no one.
Klaus,
And that's the hardest part.
Klaus,
the hardest part is to explain the feeling when you lose datas, but there is no one in the background to see the losing of the datas.
Klaus, you said when you lose the personality, well, there is the character FullOn. I call the characters the personality. It's FullOn there, but it's simply totally impersonal already. It just plays out as it plays out. It's even more FullOn.
Oh yeah, it's always like that. Even when there is a strong sense of a me, it's not someone's me. Yeah, that's clear.
It's already empty. Yeah. Michael, sweetheart, what are the clouds telling you? You're looking like up.
Oh no, I was stretching my neck actually. That wasn't any body language. I have a stiff neck this morning.
Okay, so feel massaged by me.
I see it, or this brain sees it, as a world spinning in the synaptic gaps, a universe of named objects, including me, mine, I, you. You're an object in my brain. You both are beautiful objects in my brain. What I know about you and what you've been willing to share about you has created a persona, a little hologram, an image of Klaus, an image of Rosa. Both beautiful figures dancing inside of this globe. I see everything, or again, this brain sees everything as inside of itself, but that does not negate the physically manifested. Deer live in a physically manifested universe, but their eyes are totally different than ours. They see motion. That's what evolution has given to them, a survival eyesight. Their world would be totally unrecognizable by us. People who have their eyesight restored after being blind from birth do not see perspective. They see little cars, and all of a sudden, this car is big. And they can't get that back. It's gone. That part of the brain that was to learn that is atrophied. It's gone. A lot of them want to be blind again because they cannot adapt to this new world. The brain, the human brain, is so complex and so beautiful. It takes hundreds of millions of tidbits of information, pulls it into this human-centric view of the world, of the manifested universe, and it is beautiful. But it's survival. You can see faces in clouds. The ones who couldn't see faces hiding in the
Yeah,
tree
totally,
were,
sweetheart. This is
yeah,
happening a lot here. I just have to watch it. I don't, not only everything. It's so
yeah,
funny. I
beautiful.
love it. I love it.
The humans who couldn't see faces hiding in the trees were killed off because our enemies were multitudinous. They were always trying to kill us. So the human brain adapted to see face. I can see faces in the linoleum, in the bathroom linoleum. I can
Me
see
too,
faces and
sweetheart. Me too.
tigers and horses, and that's survival. It's beautiful and survival.
What a beautiful story. Ah,
I can tell men by the way they posture if they're threatening or not. And I don't run across them because I'm old and not not tall. And so I don't run across threatening men. But if men square up to you, or this is the symbol here, uh, we shake hands to show we don't have a weapon.
mm.
That's why we hold another person's hand. Lefties can't be trusted because they still had their good hand. That's why the mistrust for lefties came about.
It's
So,
not, but Michael, let me just a sec, sweethearts. Let's when we are kicked off, or let's continue in part number 2, okay? Because
oh, of
this is
course,
going
of
to
course.
just
Yeah,
use the
for me it's
same link.
okay.
Beautiful.
Okay. Yeah.
Just use the same link. And here, I just wanted to add, sweetheart, while listening to you, how this body naturally is playing out like a dancing with the other bodies, like everything is so
Yeah.
perfectly timed.
Mm,
All these booming perceptions, everything, including the thoughts, this is like a magic dance, exactly like the way we are communicating, like
mm,
exactly sensing the closeness of someone, or I don't like him, I don't know why, but I don't like, so I
of
go this
course.
way. And this
Negative.
is so beautiful, and this is wow. Yeah.
Well, I will see you soon on
Okay,
the other
sweetheart,
side.
see you in part number 2. Okay, cool.